But the Davidges were marked people. They were the one struggling family in a prosperous community, and poverty amid prosperity is often embarrassing and irritating to the prosperous. They were considered unattractive physically. They were so meek. The Davidges never fought back. The Strangers That Came to Town by Ambrose Flack is a work of realistic fiction that teaches a valuable life lesson. When the Davidge family, European immigrants, moved to a country lane called Syringa Street, it is immediately apparent that they are not liked nor accepted by their new neighborhood. But after Andy, a fellow neighbor of the Davidges, wrongly poisons the family's newly caught fish on a fishing trip, the neighborhood soon begins to realize something they should have known all along. One of the most interesting characters in this short story is Mr. Davidge, the rather quiet and shy father of the Davidge family. An event that demonstrates why he is the most interesting in the story is when Mr. Davidge breaks down crying in front of Andy and his family. It makes the character interesting because it was a moment where anger and resentment was expected from Mr. Davidge, considering what had been done to his family. But instead, he was emotional and showed remorse towards Andy and his brother for what they had to do to fix their mistake. One quote that describes this event reads, "He, Mr. Davidge, gulped and swallowed hard. For a moment he could not speak. Then, in a voice that was raw with emotion, he protested that he had not wished for us, Andy and his brother, to suffer so." Now, however, when it comes to the most interesting event, it is not the same as the one just mentioned. This event occurs when the Davidge family first arrives to Syringa Street. It is interesting for multiple reasons: what the Davidges happen to bring, their emotions, and Andy and his family's slightly suspicious response. A quote to support this statement reads, "The barnyard sounds we heard escaped from 2 crates of hens the Davidges had fetched along and from a burlap bag in which a small flock of ducks had been stowed. While the livestock made noises according to its kind, the Davidges were quiet, almost solemn. They showed no elation at finding themselves in a new neighborhood, and a very pretty neighborhood at that. All afternoon Mother, Tom, and myself had been watching out for them, with rather mixed emotions." In addition, the tone of the short story is serious and dramatic, which leaves readers feeling anxious in one moment and somber in the next, while all at the same time moving through these feelings in a slower pace. When on the topic of theme, the short story teaches an important life lesson to its readers. This life lesson is that you should not make immediate judgments based on what you perceive of a person or group of people. A quote from Andy that helps to support this idea says, "Instead of a wretched abode, we found a scantily furnished home that shone with cleanliness and smelled of spicy garden pinks." To conclude, The Strangers That Came to Town by Ambrose Flack can be recommended to somebody who has experienced or is experiencing unfair judgment and ridicule. In the end, this short story exquisitely provides a serious but still dramatic tone that will leave readers feeling concerned, joyful, upset, and anything in between.